Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special event. Today, we are talking about Maha Shivaratri, or the Great Night of Shiva, why it's important, what you should be doing on this very powerful day, and how PIllai Center has created several ways to support you during this most important power time of the entire year, the most important time of the year to be removing your karma. So first, we are going to get started with a message from Dr. PIllai, and then we'll move into the significance of Maha Shivaratri, and then what you can do. I'll break it down very specifically, so there should be no doubts in your mind. However, I will take questions at the end, so please post those in chat and I will get to them. Before we move into the whole program today, I want to tell you that this day is special for me personally because I met Dr. PIllai the day before Maha Shivaratri, or the Great Night of Shiva, in the year 2000. So there was a seminar. I was invited by some friends to join. They were, I had a previous meditation teacher, and some of the people that I knew from that community said, you have to check out this guy. He's the real deal. Like, he is enlightened. You need to go see him. So I was like, okay. So I went to this beautiful hotel, and Dr. PIllai had this, he was, I had a different name at that time. I don't even remember which one it was, Shiva Baba, or, but this, little man with a long beard and long hair and Indian dress came out, and I fell in love with him. I saw him and I was like, my heart, my soul, knew and connected with this being. And in that moment, I just knew that there was this relationship. And the session went on. He did these amazing meditations, mantras, putting them into our ears, the eyes, nose, the whole body. I'd never experienced anything like it. And I had been meditating for quite some time prior to that with different teachers. So at the break, he came back and he said, well, I am having a program tomorrow, but it was for my students who are my current students. But I was given a message from the divine to open it up to all of you. And it's an all-day, all-night event. It's going to start at 10 a.m. in the morning, and it's going to go through to the next day, 6 a.m. And if you're, open to that, and if you want to join, you can sign up. And I thought, that's it. I'm signing. So I went, signed up, and I registered. The next day I showed up at this beautiful Park Avenue apartment. Someone had lended Dr. PIllai for the event. And we were there with him all day. He was in silent most of the time. Remember, he had the long beard, so he was in his different mode of being. He was actually in his K2 phase. When you're in K2, you are really diving deep into your spiritual experiences and tapping into past lives. So there's Dr. PIllai in his, kind of most spiritual essence. And then came midnight, and we were all given this little thing called a Shiva Lingam, and it looked just like this. We had a little tiny glass Shiva Lingam. We had a little cup and then some milk and another little cup. And God bless the people who were organizing this. I was new, we just all had these little cups, and they got Shiva Lingams for all of us. And exactly at midnight, we were to pour the milk over the Shiva Lingam and chant this mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. And Dr. PIllai guided us through it. We watched the clock. We did it, started a few minutes beforehand and ended throughout a few minutes after. And that was it. Like, that was the pinnacle. That was why we were there all day. And we continued to meditate, I think, a few more hours. And he let us go early. He didn't make us stay there all the way till the next morning. I think it was maybe 2 a.m. or maybe even 4, but it wasn't the 6 a.m. that was originally planned. So we did that, and I was like, okay, that was supposed to be it. That was everything. Like, that moment in time, that midnight, that pouring of the milk on the Shiva Lingam with the enlightened master, that was it. But I didn't feel terribly different. But I have to tell you, from that moment on, my life has been 100% different. Been studying with Dr. PIllai. I have started different businesses. I have had progression in different relationships. I now work for Dr. PIllai. I've given my life to the service of his mission and his teachings, which was my deepest prayer, which was my soul's prayer. During this period of time where I was studying with him, I kept praying, Lord, just let me use the life you gave to serve you and your people. And I just had that constant prayer. And then at one point, Dr. Pillai called me on the phone and said, would you like to come open a retreat center for me? And this was many years ago. Anyway, that began and he had never called me before, so that was a miracle. And that began my journey with my service to him and service to all of you, and how this is such a meaningful journey for me. This is my life, right? This is what I live and breathe for. And I could get emotional right now. And it all started on this day. It all started on this Maha Shivaratri day, 23 years ago. Now I'm getting emotional. And this is how important this day is. It can totally change the direction of your life. It is the most powerful karma busting day of the entire year, and we don't want to miss it for that reason. But there are other energies at play. There's not just this act of the Shiva Lingam, the act of these rituals that we're doing. It's also that Dr. Pillai is closely coupled with Lord Shiva. In many of his Nadi readings, it has been said that he is the avatar. He's come to the earth to represent the energy of Lord Shiva. He has a close relationship with Nataraj, the dancing Shiva. He's got this big, beautiful Nataraj statue, which he worships daily. So, and in many of his past lives, he has had deep relationships with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has consumed him into his in Shiva Nataraj in Chidambaram, this temple in India, consumed Dr. Pillai in that past life as Madhukavaskar into the statue and dissolved him into light. And then as Swami Ramalingam had a deep connection with Lord Shiva. He could pray to him and sing to him, and then he eventually turned his body into light. So Dr. Pillai is Lord Shiva, essentially walking on the earth plane, among other deities that have gotten into his body. So we have the Enlightened Master, and we are so blessed to have this Enlightened Master, have access to the Enlightened Master, have all the YouTube videos that he has created. And I just listened to like 15 of them this morning on Maha Shivaratri. So please go to Pillai Center YouTube and watch all of the Shiva. There's a playlist. Watch those from prior years. So we have that, right? The Shivaratri, the Maha Shivaratri as its own essence, this power time, very powerful. Couple that with an enlightened master who is the embodiment of Lord Shiva, and then have us be able to have access to all this divine grace is just magnanimous. It's just beyond real. So what a blessing we are in this moment in time, being able to access all of this grace from God. So very exciting. That's the introduction that I wanted to do before we get into to the session today. It just personally, how all of this time period brings me back to this beautiful experience with Dr. Pillai and Lord Shiva, and starting this journey. So first, I'm going to play a video, and let me position that for you all. And like I said, please definitely post your questions. I will get to them as we move through the program. All right, you should be able to see this black screen. I'm going to play this video. This is from Dr. Pillai talking about the great night of Shiva.
The night of the Shivaratri is very important because it is the day that can give you the highest wisdom that is possible beyond the mind. And that's what is needed, because the mind intelligence can give you only limited success because mind itself is ignorant. So we have to go beyond the mind. There is an opportunity for everyone regardless whether he is educated or uneducated, whether he has skills or not, will be benefited by this program if he remains alert. That's how the the practice of keeping vigil on the Shivaratri night is so important. Now, what's going to happen on this night? And why this night is so significant? Because it is the night where there is a special blessings from Lord Shiva. And he picked up this particular night to help not only the human beings here on this earth plane, but for the entire universe. Let's concern ourselves only with what we can get out of this night. During this night, the mind principle can totally be erased, and you can be in a different state of consciousness. And that consciousness is Shiva's consciousness. Shiva's consciousness is the ultimate consciousness. You don't have to do anything. You will see miracles happening if you have Shiva's consciousness. Then you will see your education, your skills, your strategies, your maneuvering, all these are irrelevant. You can succeed in life quite easily, provided you fall in love with Lord Shiva. And he will give you on this day a great boon of going beyond this mind, going beyond the senses. And that is what is going to happen when you remain alert and start chanting the words, the sounds, then you will be transformed.
So those are the words of Dr. Pillai. And most important, now I will go through a little bit of a presentation. So do have your questions. Let me just get set up here. Here we go. All right. Okay, so we just heard from Dr. Pillai on what is the Great Night of Shiva. And to reiterate, the time due to this moon, this 14th moon, is a time when our mind is lessened. The activity of the mind is lower because of this very special power time, specifically having to do with Lord Shiva, because he is the god of enlightenment and destruction, destroying our ego, our negativity, our maya, our karma. He's destroying those at all times. And then we have the 14th moon, which is the moon right before the new moon. And then the moon controls the mind, and the mind is what gives us all this activity. So when the moon goes into this waning phase, moving towards the new moon, the emptiness, our mind becomes lower with activity. And in this little opportunity, this period of time, Lord Shiva can come in and give us an enlightened experience, give an experience of true light beyond the senses. And that is the purpose, is getting beyond the senses so that we can experience ourselves as God, experience ourselves as light. And that's what is so significant about this period of time. So it also helps to hold intentions for what it is you'd like to experience. If you want to have that experience of merger with Shiva, if you want to reduce your karma, whatever that looks like is something that you can put into play here. As I mentioned, it's an opportunity for enlightenment because we have that little window where the mind is lowered, and it is the most powerful karma busting day of the entire year. I love this quote from Dr. Pillai. On this night, you can acquire the equivalent benefit of 1,000,000 years of meditation. How blissful. Okay, so what should you do on this most important day of the year? Keep vigil is one of the most important things. There's several things, so right. So you're going to want to keep vigil. You are going to want to perform ritual and chant a mantra, and we'll get into each of these three very significant things to do. First of all, Dr. Pillai says that there is this time window, this 12-hour time window. It's from 6 change that on the slide. It's wrong. It's from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in your time zone. So your evening. So 6 p.m. wherever you are through 6 a.m. the next day. That's your 12-hour time zone. And it's where you are. That's where you are. And at midnight, the very center of this 12 hours is the most important time. And this is where you'll be doing the ritual. I'll get into more specifics of that. Those 12 hours are broken into kalas, or periods of time. And then in India, when I was there, they would have different rituals performed in the first kala. There's 4 kalas, 3 hours each, and different rituals would be performed in different kalas. And when you join the Great Night of Shiva online program that we have it all broken out for you to do what to do in each kala. And Dr. Pillai gives a different meditation of the Namah Shivaya mantra for each kala, for each segment of time. So it's really beautiful. If you don't have access to that yet, it's very inexpensive. I think it's $45. It's called the Great Night of Shiva program. And hopefully there's a link below. If not, we'll add it. And that's something you would just have, you'd always have. It's an ongoing, it's a self-guided program. You can do it every single year, and we give you all of what you need. But if you're not using that, you just simply keep vigil chanting Om Namah Shivaya during this 12 hours. What does it mean to keep vigil? It means to stay awake, to be in meditation, to engage in spiritual activity in some way or another. Stay active inside of this 12-hour period. It's much easier to do that in group, and that is why Pillai Center hosts every year a period of time where we're getting together. In the prior years, we did it for 12 hours. This year, I believe it's 6 hours. So we've cut it down, but we've given you the tools that you need to continue your practice for the full 12 hours. And I'll go into more of that at the end of what Dr. Pillai is doing on this day this year. Performing rituals. So the hydration ceremony, the hydration ritual is the most important one to do. So every hour, starting at your 6 p.m., going to your 6 a.m., you want to perform this hydration. And it's a simple technique. We have examples of it. And like I said earlier, you take your Shiva Lingam, or if you don't have a Shiva Lingam, you can take a smooth rock or stone or gem and just designate it as your Shiva Lingam. Pour a little bit of water to clean it, and then pour milk over. Every hour, just pour a little bit of milk over the Shiva Lingam, chanting Om Namah Shivaya. And I showed it before, and I'm showing it again in this little tiny screen, and I'll show at the end. This is your Shiva Lingam or a smooth stone or gem, and that's what you do. So you're just pouring it over. You can do a more elaborate hydration. It can involve milk, water, orange juice, rose water, sandalwood powder, turmeric, yogurt. There's a variety of substances that, when get poured over the Shiva Lingam, have a different quality about them. And in fact, I believe in our Great Night of Shiva program, in the online course, I think we have a recording of one of our priests performing this and guiding us through. So that might be there as well. But either way, you'll want to, at the very simplest version, just initially pour water to hydrate and to clean, and then just milk every hour is fine. And chanting Om Namah Shivaya as you perform this ritual. Next is the mantras. So what mantras are you chanting? Om Namah Shivaya, that's the go-to. You'll be chanting it all night for 12 hours nonstop. Now, Dr. Pillai has a variety of ways that he sometimes shifts those mantras. Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah, yeah, he just moves them around. And that's in the program as well. Different ways that you can use the mantra, different parts of the body to place them into. But for purposes of, if you don't have the program, if you're not joining that, then just use Om Namah Shivaya. That is Shiva's supreme consciousness. It is the 5 elements. And when you use this mantra, you're tapping into the energy, the benefits, the power of the 5 elements. And Dr. Pillai has great videos on going into more detail about that. Na, the earth element, what the earth can give us jewels and gems. It can give us resources of all kinds, food, sustenance. Ma is water. We cannot live without water. She is fire. We cannot live without fire. We're warm-blooded beings. We need heat. We need to, if we want to cook our food, fire is necessary. Ya is the air. We need air to breathe. Va, is air, and Ya is ether. It's going beyond. That's the spiritual element. Okay. There's this beautiful 1-minute meditation that Dr. PIllai does, which, are we going to do that? No, we're not. Okay. The 1-minute meditation is when you place the syllables into the different areas of your body. Na at the root, Ma at the navel center, Shi at the heart, Va at the mouth and the throat, and Ya at the third eye and above. So there's a video for that as well that you can use. Namah Shivaya. The other mantra that you can use is Tirunila, and that is the mantra when chanted at the throat, removes karma. And since this is such a powerful karma removal day, you can certainly use this mantra as well. It's a Shiva mantra. And Shiva is the being who destroys karma, destroys negativity, destroys our ego. What's our ego? That which separates us from God. Destroys our Maya. What is Maya? The illusion that we look out into this world and we think that it is real, when really there's multiple dimensions happening simultaneously, and that we can create anything that we want. But we believe in this 3-dimensional reality that we see, and Shiva can destroy that for us and help us to see what is possible and go beyond these limitations of these senses. We're constantly being bombarded with our senses, our 5 senses. When we go beyond that, we can get into limitless consciousness, and that is where Shiva lives. Okay. This beautiful quote here: a mantra is a divine origin, and where did it originate from? It originated from space. Ya. That's the space element. I just want to make sure we covered everything. Yes, we did. Okay, so those are the things that you want to do when you're preparing for your hydration and preparing for your ceremony. You should take a shower, put on clean clothes, really be in create your environment in a way that is sustaining for your spiritual experiences, right? Clean your room, your meditation room, wherever you're going to be doing this. Wear clean clothes, maybe a white or light in color. Have your ritual items set out for you. Have some flowers to offer. Have your milk, whole milk. Have your Shiva Lingam, and a little cup of water, incense, or a ghee lamp. Let's see, I think I had, okay, yeah. Incense or a ghee lamp, have that prepared. And then, so you'll want it for your whole ritual. What you'll want is a ghee lamp or candle, incense, a little cup of water, so a fruit of some sort to offer to Lord Shiva. It can be a banana, any type of fruit or nut or something like that. Just make sure it's a vegetarian item. And a flower, some sort of flower, if you can get access to all these. If you cannot, then simply having the Shiva Lingam, your stone, and the milk is really all you need if you don't have any other items. But if you want to do a full puja and ritual, those other items would be useful as well. Okay, so we'll move into how PIllai Center is here to support you this year in 2023. First of all, we have 5 sessions where we will be hosting live events leading up to and on the day of the Night of Shiva. So the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th, 5 full days. And there's different time zones. So we flip them just to give different people opportunities to join from different parts of the world. Starting on the 14th of February, and then going through actually to the 18th, which is the great night of Shiva. That is the 18th. So that morning in US time, we'll be having a session that you can then be using that night. So you create an optimum state of receptivity to these blessings. This is a preparation mode. It is the karma cleansing mode. You'll be doing a guided hydration ceremony, so you know how to do this when it gets to the 18th of February, so you know what you're going to do. There'll be some mantra chanting targeted to clear out negativity, and again, prepare us to do that. This is absolutely free. It's going to be hosted on PIllai Center Practice YouTube, but there is a link in the description to just get reminders. So if you want to be reminded of this, put your name on the email list and we'll send that to you. Next is joining Dr. PIllai on the Great Night of Shiva itself. This is a paid program. If you'd like to join him, we have an early bird that expires on February 15th. So you'll want to hurry up and register if you are interested in joining Dr. PIllai. And what do we have here? So Dr. PIllai during midnight, where he is. So it doesn't matter necessarily where you are. When you're joining this, you want to be wherever the energy of where the ceremony or meditation or anything like that is happening is where the vortex is. Where Dr. PIllai is where the vortex is. And he'll be doing this midnight time where he is. And he'll be in Central Standard Time Zone in the US. So that's going to be 11 p.m. where he is, and he'll go for probably an hour and a half, if I had to guess. And that's 9 p.m. Pacific time. So you can translate to your different time zones. He'll be giving, and I just found out today that he added a fire ritual to this session. So he'll be doing a hydration ceremony. He will be doing a meditation and mantra initiation on Maha Shivaratri, and he'll be doing a fire lab. So, exactly what he'll be talking about, we don't know, because that's going to come to him in that very moment. And that is going to be a perfect empowerment, a perfect initiation, because he will be in the exact place he needs to be receptive to Lord Shiva's energy, to have that come flowing through him. So all we need to do is show up. We all just need to show up to this event and have the blessings of Dr. PIllai and Lord Shiva come through during the awakened time of that night, 11 p.m. through probably 12:30 a.m. that day where he is. So that's what's happening. And that's the most important thing that you can join. So there's that. There's also going to be an overnight vigil, and that starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time and brings us through to 5 a.m. Pacific time the next day. So not quite the 12 hours, but pretty darn close. And we will be hosting meditations and rituals that you will then be able to do on, be guided. You can do them at home, and if you don't have the items, you can just watch. And really, it's really powerful. I watched the PIllai Center teachers who host this. It's very engaging. Every hour we stop and do a ritual. Other times we're doing the meditations along with Dr. PIllai's audio program. So being in group is another way to access more energy, more synergy, and it helps keep you awake, to be quite honest. If you're logging into Zoom and you're going in with your, type in chat and say hello to everybody, it's a way to be engaged. The energy is definitely more heightened than if you're by yourself. So that's a big bonus. There'll be a group fire lab that will be hosted by Swamini Vali, and that will be happening that day before Dr. PIllai. I'm sorry, it's going to happen after Dr. PIllai's session. So another way to kind of keep us awake longer through the night. And she'll be doing 1,008 Namah Shivayas, which is incredible. It'll probably be more than an hour just for this fire lab, but another way to be engaging and stay in tune with the energy. And then you have access to the Great Night of Shiva program. I mentioned this earlier. This is inside of this program is everything you need to do the Great Night of Shiva on your own. You'll get that as a bonus when you sign up for the live program. And then of course we have the remedies. The remedies are done on your behalf in India. Like I had mentioned, when I've been in India on Maha Shivaratri, such a great blessing to be able to be there. They do 12 hours. They do the full vigil. 240 different rituals are performed over the course of this period of time on your behalf. So if you are a ritual person, a remedy person, this is the program to do, because it is, like I said, the most powerful time of the year to remove karma. So you don't want to miss this. Even if you're not going to meditate, even if you're not going to join the Dr. PIllai session, the rituals themselves hold such an important place in our evolution. At the soul level, it is being cleansed. So there are different ways to join this program. One is the fundamental level, and that is Dr. Pillai's empowerment. That's going to be about an hour and a half in length, maybe an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what he does and how long he goes. It'll be the empowerment, the initiation from him, the mantra initiation, hydration ceremony, and fire lab. So that's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. We have an amazing early bird pricing here, and this pricing is less than it has been in all of our prior years. So we're keeping this as low as we possibly can in an energetic exchange for you. Next is the premier level. It includes Dr. Pillai's initiation ceremony and ceremonies, and it includes the overnight vigil with Pillai Center teachers. I think it's like, what, 10 hours or something, and the group fire lab with Swami Nivali. So that's included there. So you really get more of the full experience of the group participation, the community. And then the all-inclusive is all of that plus the advanced plus remedies that are being performed in India. So a perfect way to join, bring everything together. Your initiation with Dr. Pillai, the group overnight vigil, as well as rituals being performed on your path. This is what I would do when I participate in rituals, and when I participate in programs, especially when they're just a once a year type of thing. I just kind of go all in and do the best I can with all of them. To cleanse as much as I can. The early bird again here is $75 off. So if you want to join before February 15th. So the rituals that are being performed, we have 259 sacred ceremonies. And they will be streamed actually live on February 18th, that you can watch them as well. Even if you don't participate, I believe that will just be streamed on Astraved TV. So here is where we'll be taking some questions. And let me see what folks are having to say in YouTube. All right, so questions, you can ask them now. Someone is asking about, I have to do at the same time you, or I wait till my nighttime. Yeah, if you're in a different time zone, you would start your ceremonies during your period of time. Your 6 p.m. to your 6 a.m. is when you will do them. However, you will take a break and join Dr. Pillai when he does his. So it might extend if you're in a, 12 hours different time zone difference or 8 hours time zone difference. Plan ahead, and thankfully God has given us this event on a Saturday, on a weekend, so hopefully you can clear your schedules, whether it's early Friday, Saturday through Sunday, to join all of that, doing your own 12-hour vigil and joining Dr. Pillai, and or when the ceremonies are being hosted, or the vigil is being hosted by the Pillai Center teachers. So you want to do both if you can. And if you can't, you just do the best you can. It'll be fine. Little story, but while I'm waiting for some questions to come through, is that Dr. Pillai tells this story of this hunter who was hunting, and his arrow happened to hit this bilva tree, and these little bilva leaves fell down. And bilva leaves, B-I-L-V-A, are very important to Lord Shiva. They're also important to Lakshmi. She meditated under the bilva tree and gained her powers too. So bilva leaves are very important. And they fell upon this Shiva lingam that happened to be in the forest. And because he initiated this act that caused these bilva leaves to fall upon this Shiva lingam, he had an enlightened experience. Now, he didn't even mean to. He was just a hunter in the forest. But because his acts happened to have an impact that had this ritual happen, he received the benefits. Another example is Dr. Pillai talks about this, another story where, I forget the whole story, but there's this guy in the top of this tree, and he accidentally pours milk onto the Shiva lingam at midnight, and he becomes enlightened, right? So the moral of these stories are, even without the right intention, if you do and perform these acts during the right time, you will have immense benefits. if you do it with the right intention and keeping vigil, then that'll have even more benefits. So you want to make sure that those, your intentions are coupled with your actions and then doing them at the right time. So always your midnight is important regardless. Even if you're not doing the full vigil, your midnight is important. The other thing is joining Dr. Pillai where he is at midnight so that you get the benefits of his energetic transmission during the most powerful time. Okay, so you're getting his energetic transmission during his power time during midnight. How I wish people would write in ways that I could easily read. If you can't be present the entire time, will you still get the benefit of the program? Yes. So like I said, you'll do the best you possibly can with being present for as long as you can. So you don't have to be there for, I've fallen asleep. I've not participated for 12 hours, like it happens. You do the best you can. You do as much as you can. And that's what life is about on the earth plane, right? If you can go all in and do the 12 hours, fantastic. If you can't, then you do what you can. At the very least, I would say just join Dr. Pillai's session. That's going to be an hour or an hour and a half. Everyone should be able to mark that out of their schedule and join them. That's going to be the most impactful thing for you to do. I have signed up for the ritual package with Ashtabed. Would it still be recommended for me to hydrate the Shiva Lingam on my own? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a great question. So thank you for bringing this up. So when we have rituals done on our behalf, that is extra, right? Like that happens at our soul level. We're having these ceremonies being performed by Vedic experts, but we also should do them, especially on these special days. If you're having rituals done for you every day, that's fantastic. You don't have to necessarily have to do rituals every day if you're having them done for you. However, on these very important times, it's like a backup, right? Like you're having them done there, that's important, and then you're doing it yourself too. I'm not saying you have to do the 12-hour vigil and hydrate the ceremony, do the hydration every hour throughout the 12 hours if you fall asleep or if you're not able to. Then having them done for you is a great, a great way to make sure it's happening. But please make every effort to do it on your own as well. So I say this about Tarpanam or ancestor offerings. Like I do it myself, but now I also have people in India doing it on my behalf. You cannot get too many rituals. You cannot get too many remedies done. What is a remedy? It is offsetting something that is affecting you in a non-helpful way. Right. So we want that as much as we possibly can. Speaking of, I meant to mention this. So the lime here is, Dr. Pillai calls it like the Shiva's fruit, and it removes karma. So you can just have them around. You can do Tirunilakantam at the throat and then cut these. This is another thing that you can do for ritual. Thank you. Keep posting your questions. Can I use a rose quartz stone? Yes, you can. Can I do hydration with Shiva Nataraj? Yes, you can. Is there anything we need to offer to the deity to help bust our karma? Yes. So you can make the offerings that I mentioned in terms of like some fruit or food, incense, light, ghee lamp, water, flour. All of those are things that you can make an offering to in order for that being to come alive and respond. In this case, it's Lord Shiva. And the hydration is another offering, right? It's a way to connect. Hydration brings life to, and that's a way for us to connect. So everything that I mentioned is ways for you to connect more. Yes, honey is another substance you can pour over the Shiva Lingam. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Thank you all for being here. Yeah, if you're in the UK, for example, you would join Dr. Pillai during his time. You could also join the session that is being hosted in US timing, but you would also, if you can, do your vigil during your time period. If they might overlap. How do we know when his midnight is? Dr. Pillai will be in Central Standard Time. He'll be in Central Standard Time. So that's when his midnight will be. So we're starting that program at 11 p.m. where he is, Central Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. Pacific, which is what we have on the website. So at 9 p.m. Pacific is when Dr. Pillai will go live, and that's where his session is. And that'll be for an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how long he goes on each of what he's doing. He'll be giving an initiation, a hydration, and a fire ritual. So he just added the fire ritual today, which is very exciting. Another thing I wanted to mention is that, Dr. Pillai has been talking a lot lately about how this is such a significant time in the world, and that there is needed protection, and that the spiritual people, as long as we are in active prayer and intentional gathering, that will be protected as well. So Shivaratri being this time of elements of the earth, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. It's what it's all around our earth plane. It's a time where we also are grounding in this protection. The more of us participating in this, the better and more energetic kind of web of light we're creating during this time. Imagine on February 18th, everyone around the world participating in this chanting, this honoring of Shiva, this creating this protection, this removal of karma. It's very important for the whole world for us to be active in this way spiritually, to be preserving and protecting and ridding the world of darkness. So this is your part. Your part is to join in and do whatever works best for you, whether you're doing with the group in our programs or whether you're doing this at home alone. Just actively engaging in this protection, this meditation, this spiritual activity that helps on multiple dimensions. Oh, welcome. This is your first Maha Shivaratri. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the community. Can you consume the Abhishekam items and juices? Good question. So there's two different things that happen when you're doing hydrations. One is when you're honoring and giving, you're giving to the being, and then you consume it because it's blessed. And one is when you're doing strictly a karma removal ceremony, in which case you don't want to, you want to get rid of it. For Maha Shivaratri, I believe we want to just get rid of it, since it's a karma busting activity that we're asking Lord Shiva to really intervene on our behalf. So I would release it, just pour it down the drain. Can we initiate with a homa? I'm not sure what that means. Dr. Pillai will be doing an initiation and a homa and a hydration. I'm not, if that's what you mean. He's the one who's giving the initiation. So what's the best way to discard the milk after the hydration? Just pouring it down the drain. You could pour it into like your yard if you want to. It's just as easy to pour it down the drain. So it's up to you. Other questions? Thank you, Atun. Glad you are enjoying this. Yes, chocolate is good. You can offer chocolate. Yes, okay, good question. Whatever the food you offer, can you consume it? Yes. So if you're offering chocolate or fruits or nuts or anything, even if you want to make some, rice or something for Lord Shiva, you can consume any of that afterwards. Yeah, there's only some divine beings that you should not consume after you offer, but Lord Shiva is not one of them, at least not in this form. Other questions? Okay, so I said I would show you again the Shiva Lingam. I have two of them, two different kinds to show you. So one is the crystal. So beautiful. And you can get this on PIllai Center, on PIllaiCenter.com. This one is another Shiva Lingam. This one is a metal. So what is the Shiva Lingam? The Shiva Lingam is the representative of Lord Shiva. Okay, so you see Lord Shiva in pictures, but you don't always his form. You don't always see his form in statues. You often see it in this format. And what are these two objects? What do they look like, right? What are they made like? Why do they look the way they look? Well, it is the joining together of the male and the female. It is the coming together of Parvati, Lord Shiva's consort or wife, and Lord Shiva himself in one. So it's actually a divine union, sexual union, and the lingam is his lingam, and it symbolizes him and his totality, his energy, his power, his creative force. When they come together, the male and the female, they're in a creative state, right? This sexual and divine union is a creative state. And so when you see the Shiva Lingam, that is what it is. And so how beautiful that we honor and worship Lord Shiva in union with his consort, his Parvati, his wife, and can release our karma, as well as, kind of begin again, create something new. A new life is being renewed as we're releasing the old. So you will often see Lord Shiva as symbolized as the Shiva Lingam, and you often don't see him in statues. Can I pray for an improved career experience to Lord Shiva? Would he be fast-acting deity? You can, however, all deities can do multiple things, right? But we have kind of specialties, and Lord Shiva's specialty is the removal. It is the destruction. It is taking away that which we don't need. So you might want to go to more of a creative being like Vishnu, Lakshmi Vishnu, for creating something new, whereas Lord Shiva is the removal. So I want to remove a negative force in my life. I want to remove negative thoughts in my life. I want to remove a limited perception that I have in my mind. If you want to remove the limited perception of what you can and cannot have in your career, that's a perfect thing to pray to for Lord Shiva, right? But for the creative aspect, you typically want to go to Vishnu, Lakshmi, who kind of creating the sustenance that we need for this earth plane. Good question, though. Other questions? Yeah, wonderful questions. Thank you. And for those of you new, welcome. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, help us to reach more people, but definitely subscribe to PIllai Center Practice, to PIllai Center, to Shrimberzi, to Religion of Religions. We have a host of channels out there to support your journey. And we're very excited to do that. This is what we live for, quite honestly. As I mentioned before, Dr. Pillai said this is a very significant day. It's a very significant time for all of us to be joining together in meditation. So please, even if you're not joining any of our programs, please make sure you are hosting your own vigil with yourself. But we would love to see you in ours, so that, again, the community energy would be even more synergistically available to everyone who joins. So you will notice a difference when you meditate in group versus when you meditate on your own. And that's what the importance of that synergy, that co-creation of energy, that energetic vortex that we create when we're together really makes a difference. Where two or more of you are, I am, right? That's what Jesus said. And that is just true with every situation. Okay, so we'll begin to wrap it up unless there's any other questions. Please post them. We'll give it one more minute. Thank you for listening to my story earlier. And so a couple key things that you want to note. February 15th is the early bird registration ending for the Great Night of Shiva with the Great Night of Shiva with Dr. Pillai, yes, with Lord Shiva, where Dr. Pillai will be giving his initiation, the hydration, and the fire lab, and then the 12 or 10-hour vigil that we'll be hosting at Pillai Center with a fire lab with Swami Vali, and then of course all of that plus the rituals in India. So please make sure you pick whatever works best for you. And I would recommend doing it before February 15th so that you get the early bird pricing. And then remember that we have those 5 free sessions on Pillai Center practice that you can join, which are there to prepare and support you through this week so that you really can make the most. We're purifying ourselves. And the more pure we get, the more open and receptive we are to the divine energies. And that's so important. You can use the lime ritual, lime at the throat, Tirunilakantam. Make sure you have either your Shiva Lingam or a smooth rock or gemstone to use on Saturday, February 18th. And that should be all you need to know. It is such an honor to be here with all of you. And I'm so grateful to just be able to support. Let's see, there's more questions. What is the training called where it teaches the variation of the mantra as per hour? It's called Great Night of Shiva. And that one is least expensive. So if you can't join Dr. Pillai, in fact, it's not below the video. So I'm going to ask someone to gather that and put it there. It's called the Great Night of Shiva. And so if someone can post that, would be fantastic. But if you can join Dr. Pillai, that will be very significant. It really just depends on your budget. But yeah, the program, the online course is called the Great Night of Shiva. All right, so we will see you soon. Thank you again for your amazing questions. Thank you for being here with us. And I am grateful to all of you. We'll be leaving the chat open for a few more minutes while we wrap up. So please feel free to continue to ask your questions. If we don't get to them in time, or if you're watching this on replay, then please write to office@pillaicenter.com and we can support you there. We'll talk to you soon. Namaste.